And he was killed, and just just before the end of the First World War, and that had a devastating effect on Bob, not just because at Eton, every week new casualties were read out to all the schoolboys there, but when he got to Oxford, the dining halls and libraries were empty. The effect of that war among young men at that time was huge. And that was when Bob said, we can either eat, drink, and be merry, or just sink into depression. And it was his huge personality that brought back life into those dining halls and to Oxford at that time. And, that's the life he pursued. He was a drinker, he was a gambler, he liked the good life, and he followed it throughout his life. I think
And
eventually got the better of him.
well,
But
it will do, but yeah, it's the quality of not of life, not quantity. And the fact, so he's in there seeing all these people not coming back, these young people not coming back. Did he have an inkling at the time, like a family like the Rothschilds that you were connected to and you were brought up around, possibly had a hand in funding either side of the war? I mean, that's confusing. If you know that information and you're around these people, the conflict there must have been horrific.
I think he could see through Victor Rothschild because he knew him. I mean, Victor Rothschild knew Winston Churchill and was like a confidant to him during the Second World War. And Bob was first secretary. Bob used to make trips to Cambridge quite often, where Victor lived. And so I think it was through the Rothschilds that Bob was introduced to my mother. And their affair started during the Second World War. But I am absolutely convinced that Bob was suspicious of Victor because they completely fell out later in life. I mean, the Rothschild dinner parties in Cambridge were famous. All sorts of people were invited, and it was the best of food and the Rothschild wine, which wines were being brought up from the cellars. They were huge occasions, and Bob would be very much included in that. So these two people were friends, but I know that Bob later in life became suspicious of Victor and they fell out, but I don't know exactly for what reason. But I asked my mother, and she just said, "Oh yeah, they had their differences, and that was it." She would say nothing more.
That's
But she
fascinating, yeah, in itself, that she knew obviously something there that she was hiding.